Welcome guys, welcome to another episode of Dropback TV. So we've come down to my local Stanton fishery again, but we've come down onto the big carp lake this time. So we've come down to Chadwick's, so we'll see if we can tease one of these monsters out of here. So it's a bit of a chasing mists, this is, because I've had a few walks around here before, but I've not really seen much, and I've done a couple of days down here and I've never had a bleep, and I've only seen a handful of fish. It's not a massive lake, probably about 3 or 4 acres. It's not massive, but it's really deep down at one end. It goes down to about 25-30 foot. So I'm down in the shallower end, because I still think they'll be down here. I know it's getting colder, but we've still had a few warm days, so I think they'll still be in the shallows. So we've come down here in this nice little quiet corner, out of the way. So we'll see what we can manage. I'll say fingers crossed, we might be able to manage one out, which would be really nice, because the fish in here are absolutely beautiful. From photos that I've seen from years ago, there's some absolute crackers in here. And one of the fish that I have seen, it was a common, not far from the bank, only a rod length or so out, but the best way to describe it was a breeze block. It was literally shaped like a breeze block, and it just come out of nowhere. So one of them would be nice. But there's a couple of mirrors in here that are absolutely gorgeous. I say, if I could show you the photos, you'd see what I'm talking about. But I say, it's one of them places that it's just full of mist. You've got photos of people have caught them years ago, and some of these photos are 6-7 years old, and nobody's seen them since. But there's been no reports of fish dying or anything like that, so they must still be in here, just good at keeping out of the way. So yeah, we've gone for a bit of a myth chaser today, rather than catching the little ones. We'll try and bag ourselves a beauty. So I've got a confession to make. I accidentally snapped one of my 6-foot rods. It was my own fault. I was being a bit rough with it, and I accidentally snapped one. And I don't know if you've ever done it before, but I was absolutely fuming when I done it. So I went and I bought another pair. So we've got some more. But as I say, I think they're still good rods. But I say, it was down to my own heavy-handed fault that I'd snapped it. but it is what it is. Accidents happen, don't they? So, but we live and learn. Yeah, I've been here since about 5:30 this morning, just been sat here, just watching the water until it got light, and then I set my rods up, but I've not seen much. Seen a few bursts of bubbles coming up at here and there. I've had one bleep on my right hand rod, but I'm not using back lead or anything, so it could have been a liner. So it was only one bleep, so no to shout home about. But it's a nice peaceful place, not many people fish it, so the fish don't get pressured, so they're just left to their own devices. As I say, it's on the Stanton ticket. This is probably one of the hardest lakes to get to, just because of how far away from the car park it is. As I say, not a million miles away, but obviously when you're carping, you do have quite a lot of gear that you bring with you, especially if you're one of them carpers that brings everything but the fucking kitchen sink. Which at one time that was me, but I try and keep it as minimal as possible now, just when I'm coming out for a morning, if you know what I mean. The days of bringing my barrow out stacked up for a morning's fishing, I can't do that now. There's no point. You don't need it all. So, but leave a comment down below if you've ever had that feeling where when you've snapped your rod. I say it's a horrible feeling. I was livid, honestly was. But yeah, leave a comment down below with your stories. Have you ever snapped a rod? Have you had that feeling? I can remember watching a John Wilson once, and he was piking on a boat, and he laid his rod across the two sides of the boat, and the fish got out his hand, and he dropped the fish onto his rod and snapped his rod. He lost it then. I can remember that. That was funny. But it's not funny when it happens to yourself. But as I say, we're fishing for the morning, so we're down here for a few hours. So we've got a few hours. We'll see what we can sort out, whether we can sort out a fish, or whether it's going to be one of them episodes where you just sit here and listen to me talking. But we'll see how it goes, but I'll chat back with you in a bit, whether it's with a fish or whether it's just me talking. So, quick update, not had anything yet, can't really see anything about, I've not seen any fish jumping or anything like that, so seen the odd burst of bubbles about, but apart from that, nothing else. So I thought we'll have a quick talk about my rigs. So I've got one out on a combi rig, which is just a piece of coated braid, and I've just took the braid off the end of it, a couple of inches down, just so it's got a supple bit on the end. And then my other rig, both out on inline leads, running inline leads, so if the fish picks it up, it can't use the lead to try and get rid of the hook. So hopefully that will work in my favour if I do get the opportunity. And then the other one's out on an inch stiff rig, because for me now that's always going to be one of my go-to rigs. For me, I'm more in favour of that rig than I am the Ronnie rig at the minute, because I have had a few episodes of where I've lost fish on the Ronnie rig, so lost a bit of confidence in it. Not saying it's a crap rig, because it's not a crap rig. Millions and millions of people are catching fish all day, every day on it, you know what I mean, but for me, I've lost a bit of confidence in it, so I've changed my rig. Which is, I like the inch stiff rig. I think it's a really good rig, and it's helped me bag a few fish, so I'm all for that. So that's how it is at the minute. So it might be a quiet day today, but for what scenery I've got in front of me, it's not a bad end to a day if I don't catch out. So, but I've got my lucky charms with me. So a lot of people, here, let me just get the camera. A lot of people have like the little teddy bears and stuff like that, so I was trying to sort out what I could have. So the kids gave me some McDonald's toys, so I made some bobblehead Fred hangers. So they're my lucky charms now. So I've got a pair of them, and as I say, it's not a bad way to spend a morning, is it, that? So we've got one rod out just on the edge of that reed there, and then we've got one rod out where I've seen a load of bubbles just out there, just about halfway across, which you can see another load of bubbles coming up now. So as I say, it's not a bad way to spend a morning, is it? Even if I don't catch. So we'll keep on trying, but like I said before, it's a bit of a myth chaser this, because I don't know what's in here, don't know what's still in here, don't know what the fish stocking's like. From what I've seen when I've walked around and stuff before, I've only seen a handful of carp, so we're only talking 6 or 7 carp that I've seen when I've been walking around. Even when it was red hot, cruising around on top, I've probably only seen about 4 or 5 fish. So I don't think the stocking levels are massive, but that makes it all the more interesting, because you just literally don't know what you're going to pull out. So for me, that's quite exciting, because as I say, if you'd seen some of the photos, and you can see them if you go on to Stanton Fishing Club website, just Google it, and then if you look at Chadwick's and you look at the photo gallery on there, and you'll see some absolute beauties. They're not massive, you know what I mean. I think they're all above £20, and I say there is one in here touching 30, if it's still in here. That's the question, and nobody's got the answer, or nobody wants to tell you, because obviously a lot of carpers on a lot of lakes. Say there's not a massive amount of carpers down here, but they all like to be sort of hush hush, don't tell anybody about anything, you know what I mean. And for me, that's not fishing. No, if I know something, I'd like to tell somebody, because then if it's the difference between them catching something and them not catching something, I'd rather them catch something, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, we all go fishing for the same reason, to catch fish. So if somebody's catching fish and then they come fishing in the spot that I'm fishing in, you know what I mean, or I know something about a spot that they're in that they don't know, you know what I mean, I'd quite happily tell somebody, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, like I say, it's like a big community, you know what I mean. We all want to catch fish, so if I'm not there, why should I stop somebody else from catching fish? Don't make no sense to me, that. So if you ever see me on the bank, don't worry about asking me a question. I'll give you a truthful answer, don't you worry about that. And if I can help you catch fish, I will help you catch fish. So as I said before about me working away, so I've started working away now, so we're going to be away for 6 or 7 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. And I've got Suffolk Water Park literally down the road from where I'm working, so hopefully, fingers crossed, if I get time, I'm going to try and do a couple of nights down there, whether it be on the Match Lake or whether it be on the traditional lake or the Horseshoe Lake, we'll see. It'd be nice if we could, at the end of the job, I might even try and get like a 24-hour or 48 hours down on the big lake, because obviously there's some massive fish in there, you know what I mean. We're going over £40 now, and to catch a 40-pounder in this country, for me, might be a fish of a lifetime, that, you know what I mean. Because I'm 40 next year, so I'm hoping for my 40th there might be a possibility, or depending on what's happening with COVID and stuff by that time, maybe a trip to France, catch a 40 for my 40, that'd be nice. it won't be something that I'll be able to do every year, you know what I mean. So for me, a trip to France, it's like a once or twice sort of time thing in a lifetime, you know what I mean. Fishing don't interest my missus at all, so there's no way of wangling fishing holidays into family holidays. It'd be nice if I could, but there's not much chance of that. But I'll carry on fishing, and then I'll get back to you in a bit with some more news, or maybe a fish. Right then guys, I'm afraid that concludes this morning's session. So we've not had a touch. I didn't expect anything, to be fair. I was hopeful more than anything else. I think I was being a little bit optimistic. But hey, that's fishing. Plenty of people go fishing and blank. You know what I mean? So we've only had a few hours, not as if we've been here for a couple of days, and I would be slightly cross, but that's the way it goes. So don't forget, we've still got the competition going for free tubber pop-ups. That's still going until the 6th of October, I think it is. So if you go onto the Facebook page or the Twitter and just follow the instructions on there. Obviously, give the video a like, subscribe, leave a comment, you know what I mean. So a lot of people have told me about this place that fish only come out at night, but it's quite hard to believe. I don't think anywhere I can believe that fish only come out at night. If there's something tasty in front of a fish, it's going to have it, whether it's daytime or night time. So I don't believe that for a second, but that's the way it goes. So take care of yourselves, keep safe, keep the lines in the water, keep catching them fish. Tight lines.